Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are at East Fork State Park. On this adventure we are going to be going on the long loop, coming in right at 8 miles. East Fork is close to the town of Bethel, Ohio, not too far off from my hometown here in southern Ohio. This is the first chance I've had to come out to this trail. Anybody who knows anything about East Fork is, certain times of year, if it's wet, if it's been raining, it's really muddy. And, this is primarily, from what I've seen so far, a biking trail. So the fact that it is a biking trail is a really worn trail that I've seen thus far, and shouldn't be too hard. What I'm looking to do this evening is to hike a majority of this trail tonight and get down to Camp 1, where we'll stay for the night. But I'm also prepared to hike the rest of the way out. I just don't know, because where Camp 1 is located, it's really close to the trailhead. So you could hike in half a mile and camp out. And with this being my first time, I don't know how big of an area it is, and if I'll even be able to get a spot to pitch a tent, because we started at, it was 6:55 now. Started just around 6:30. So by the time that we do get to Camp 1, be looking around 9:30 p.m. It's rare for me to start hiking at such a late hour, but the humidity and the heat has just been incredibly it has been incredibly hot this summer. So I'm working with Mother Nature, getting a later start. We do have a full moon tonight, so if we are hiking in the dark, we'll be hiking by moonlight. One of my motivations for coming out here this evening was to scope it out. I really would like to come back and do the Steve Newman World Walker Perimeter Trail. That's at 30 miles. And at 30 miles, that's some good distance. And I could be wrong about this also, but it's probably the second longest loop that I know of in the state of Ohio, outside of Shawnee State Forest. And then maybe if we're talking about the Buckeye Trail, and then if we're talking about the Buckeye Trail, we're talking about something entirely different. So, something that you could do in a day or 2 days time. For me to be able to do the perimeter loop, I'd need, 2 days off anyways. As flat as this trail, what I've seen so far, maybe do 20 miles one day and 10 the next. If the weather holds up and I get a couple of days off, which it's been, tough with work and having time to do much of anything on the weekends. But yeah, if I do, come back and do this perimeter loop and knock it out and check it off the list. This could be, to date, the smoothest trail that I've been on. This trail is 352 foot elevation gain. So the hills that we come up on, I don't even know if I'd call them hills. Maybe I call them some rolling hills, because they are very gradual, but trail's in perfect condition, great shape, smooth on the feet. Yeah, I could get used to this. Just down this way is the lake. Hear some people talking and chattering, and I'd be halfway tempted to head down there to check that out, but time isn't really on our side. It is 7:43 p.m., so another 45 minutes till sunset, and then another hour after that till it gets dark. There's some deer right in front of me. I'm gonna try to move slowly, get them on camera. One of them already crossed my path, but there's two still behind. I don't know if you can see them. They're right here in front of me, looking at me. They probably don't think I can see them. Oh, there they go. They're gonna run up this path and try to cross. This trail has had all kinds of wildlife. It has had some turkeys jump up and run out in front of me on top of the deer scene, and there's oh no, there's another turkey. He's by himself, just, nope, looks like he's got maybe a baby with him strutting along there. They might roost. Maybe they roost up in this section of the trail. I did not expect to see all this wildlife today, and I'm pleasantly surprised about that. Now that I know this is a well-established backpacking and mountain biking trail, yeah, I might have to invest me in a bike to come on out here. See the woods in a whole different way. Okay, up here at the fork, here I go down this backpacking trail. It says Camp 2's 4 miles. Well, we're not going that way. It says Camp 1, 0.5 miles. I don't think we are that close, but let's check the map. Oh, I see. Okay, so if we were to take a shortcut up this backpacking trail, we have Camp 1 just a half a mile. Or we could stay on the long loop and, gosh, let's see, we got, it'd be another 4 miles. It's always a tough choice, and sometimes knowing what to do. It is 8:06. We get down to Camp 1 like in no time at all. So I don't know. Let's go ahead and head up to Camp 1. And if it's full, there's a lot of people down there. I don't know. We might just hike out. I know this may not be the adventure that you were expecting, but it is an adventure nonetheless. So let's get moving. This is very different from what I've seen so far. A lot of smaller, younger saplings, and I don't know if this is maybe been used as a logging road. If we were to continue on that trail, I've been looking at another 4 miles, looping back around where that intersection was where we had just crossed. But taking this shortcut allows us to get to camp sooner And I mean, as long as there's not a bunch of people down there, I mean, I'm planning on pulling up my tent and chilling out for the evening. If we got some firewood out, maybe get the fire going, get us a tasty dinner, and we'll call it a night early. I don't really know what I expected when I came out here. It's kind of more or less what I was expecting. Not much to see, not much in terms of, you know, anything other than just a leisurely stroll through the woods. Didn't even get a good look at the lake. Maybe in the morning we'll drive down there and see what that's about, because after all, this is the first time that I've been up here. And I mean, I've drove by here numerous times heading out towards Cincinnati, but just never stopped by. So this has been a bit of a disappointment. I had crossed into Camp 1, and I mean, there was already a few people there, and it's a small site. And I just had to go ahead and bail out. It's always disappointing when you go somewhere with plans to camp out and backpack the night, but hey, you know, plans change. You know, still got some exercise, still got to see some pretty, you know, neat parts of this state park, and you know, I'll be back. Well, that's the end of the trail here at East Fork State Park. Overall, you know, it's a solid trail. It's well established. There's plenty of forest cover. I've got a chance to see some deer, had a chance to see some turkeys along the way. The accessibility here to the trail is excellent. There's a big parking lot. The backpacking doesn't cost anything other than getting a permit, which is always nice. But, you know, it's not perfect, and, you know, any place, there's, you know, some things that could be better. You know, there's routes along the trail, so you do have to watch your step. You know, you have Camp 1 that is right next to the trailhead, and I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit iffy when it comes to backpacking straight next to the parking lot. But it's not a deal breaker for most people. Camping spots can be limited, for the exception of, let's see, you got Camp 1, and then another 4 miles on down, about maybe 6 miles down the way, you'd have Camp 2. But they're, I don't know, to me they're just a little bit unusually spaced out. And at Camp 1, being first time here, you know, I thought, well, maybe they'd have a spigot, maybe they'd have a water source there. You know, all they had was this small, you know, creek. The water wasn't even flowing. I mean, it's been hot, I get that, but that's not something that I'd personally want to filter my water out of. And plus, you're not going to find a ton of big views out here. Most of the trail, you know, after the first mile or so, looks a lot the same. But at the end of the day, anytime you can get out of nature, it's never a waste. For anybody that stuck around long enough and you've enjoyed this video, hey, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, check that notifications tab, give me a thumbs up. Hey, if you don't mind, drop me a comment in the comments section. Guys, this is Appalachian Andy, and I'll see you on the next one.